Hi, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, Nat. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for coming on Beyond the Hashtag. I'm very excited to have you here.
I'm excited for you to be doing podcasting.
I know.
Especially because you've got such an amazing space, and it's great. Yeah, so I'm really excited.
And also, it's been something that's been on my kind of shall I, shouldn't I list for ages. So, Danny, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about what you do, and more importantly, why you do it.
How long you got? No, I'm just kidding. So as far back as I can remember, actually, I wanted to be a designer, and it was a big childhood dream of mine to do something creative, whether it was design, drawing cartoons, doing voiceovers, whatever it was. I wanted to be creative, and I went to an all-boys sports academy in Coventry.
Okay.
And when you go to an all-boys sports academy, there's not much room for support or encouragement to be a creative person. There was no real tangible value attached to being a designer, for example. So I didn't get to do it. It just didn't happen. And I ended up in the commercial world with a job like every other person. And it took 10 years to eventually be found on the floor in central London after losing the feeling from the waist down.
Oh my God.
After a little episode of burnout. And it's funny, I have a conversation with young people now about their careers and creative careers. And it's a hard conversation because I have to try and explain to them why they shouldn't go through what I went through. And yet I know it's the one thing that has led to me becoming ultimately happy with my career choice and my job and my work and what I do for businesses and people now. So so now I run a carbon neutral design studio. We work with people all over the world, and I try and encourage people to solve a bigger problem, because of all that time of not being encouraged to be creative and go into design, and finding people not attach a value to design itself or to branding or whatever you want to call it, actually was completely wrong. Now I understand, because everything we do and every place we go and every person we meet has a brand, and it's our job to be able to positively influence the perception of that brand.
Yeah.
So I believe it can change the world, and I believe it can change the minds and hearts of people. And I think that's where we start with changing the bigger problems.
Yeah, I love that. Love what you stand for, and it's why you're such a great guest for Beyond the Hashtag today, because actually the two things, what you do, how you do it, and why, versus the notion of Beyond the Hashtag kind of fit really well, I think, which we'll explore as the episode goes on. Talk to us about becoming carbon neutral and how you've been able to achieve that.
Yeah, that was a really interesting journey for me. So I got introduced to a lady called Sarah Whale just over about a year and a half ago. She's a sustainability consultant. Feel free to look her up. Here's a little plug, Sarah.
Yeah.
Her business is Profit Impact. And she got introduced to me to do some design work and branding work for her. So I helped her with some story brand stuff and website and what have you. And partway through working together, she said, do you only focus on sustainable businesses? And I said, no. And she said, you'd never know. Because of the way you communicate and the way you talk and the clients you've dealt with that you've told me about and those things, they kind of fit the bill, and I was just interested to know. And it got me on this trail of thinking, maybe that is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And maybe I am finding my feet. And we started a journey from then to reach net zero, and she taught me about this whole world of sustainability. And I think I was already interested in it, but I never really had a path. And she showed me a path of how you can monitor and track and how you can actually reach it. And do you care about something more than climate change? Like, it's not just climate change. There's loads of problems that you can solve.
Yeah.
And, I started making small changes, like changing my energy to renewable, getting an electric car. And it started this knock-on effect. I was just interested in what else can I do? And one thing led to another. And at the end of last year, we produced 0.26 grams of carbon. Cool. And we offset 32 times what we produce. Once you get into it, it's a really fun thing to do. And what's even better is when you report on it and you actually put it out into the world, you become accountable for it. And it's become pretty much a leverage for winning new business, because people really care about that now and where you're going with it. So it's become a core part of the business.
Tell me about some of the clients then that you're supporting.
What I love about what I do is the diversity and the variety of work I get to do. I'm doing a typography set book at the minute for a speaker trainer, but I'm also doing a full rebrand for a marketing consultant in America. We've helped startups to get funding. So one of the first clients that we had was a startup in the fitness space, and it was amazing. Ben came to me with a Facebook message that said, like most people, how much is a logo? And within about 3 conversations, we had a huge project planned with app prototypes and startup branding for his company. And essentially, he managed to go and win funding at £1 million valuation. He didn't even have a customer.
Wow.
So he had all this stuff, all the branding and all the prototype that he could give to someone in their hands as if it was a tangible product. And they could fund it because they believed in it. And he didn't even need customers for that. All he needed was their buy-in. And he's shown that through, showing them how the app would work, what the business would look like. And he was able to show that professionally. He says it anyway, not me, that he puts it down to being able to show that from the get-go.
Nice. That's impact, isn't it? That's what you do, having an impact on somebody else. And we were talking before we started recording, I was mentioning to you about some of the questions I'd be asking, and one of those was like, how do you measure or how do you use socials for tangible impact? And you're like, well, what's that tangible impact? And it is different for everybody, but that is impact, isn't it? That's you making a difference on that person's life. So how else can you make an impact, or do you make an impact?
There's a few things that I'm really passionate about, and one of them connects to the story I told in my introduction, which is the young people of today not really given much of a chance when they leave school. There's no education system or part of education that teaches people the little things, the nuances of, either running a business or getting a job, or the world has changed so much around even just getting a job that I don't think we're quite prepared, and I don't think teachers are quite prepared. So actually it's really valuable for me to go into universities and colleges and try and speak to young people about their career choices and what is possible. And that's led to me doing a lot of things online in places like TikTok or on Instagram. I get lots of messages of young people who just want to be around someone who is doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Social media isn't all public.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen in messages and in the background, and people who just want to talk to you or be in a conversation with you.
That's
so
cool.
you can make so much impact, but it doesn't have to be all visible, all public, and all driven by public social media. Actually, you can use it just to connect with people, and those connections can go a long way over a long period of time.
Definitely. And as you said, just having one person pop up into your Facebook Messenger has kind of led to big things for him and for you.
Yeah.
And actually being present on a channel like Instagram or TikTok, knowing that younger people are there, and if that's who you're trying to influence, doesn't matter about how many followers you've got. Actually, if you make a difference to somebody's life just by creating that one piece of content, that's got to be more important than how many views you get.
Yeah, it's never about the views. I mean, for some people it is, but it's never about the views or the comments or the likes. I really liked it when they took the like thing away.
Yes, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I really liked that because I thought it started me thinking not just about what it meant for, self-esteem and those kinds of things, but what the future of social media looked like. Because I started to think, if we don't measure likes anymore, what's the next thing? And it's probably comments. But for what comments are, they can be good or bad, but they start a conversation.
Yeah.
And likes don't do that. It's like it's just a signal of some sort.
Yeah.
And measuring based on that doesn't help anyone. So actually, it makes the integrity of the platform a little bit stronger, which I quite liked. So I'm into doing that more.
Good. I like that. Integrity of the platform, that's super important. What do you think in terms of social media at the moment? What platform has the most integrity for you, or the potential?
I'm probably most active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's probably not where I get most of the business, but it's probably where I grow my influence the most. I think because it connects a lot with in-person networking, online networking, being global as all the platforms are, I do find it easier to connect with people on there. I'm really getting into Instagram again at the minute. I've never been one to produce content for myself. It's been really hard for me to, take a picture or a video, think of a caption. So you'll actually find that there's not many posts on my account, but I'm on stories every single day because I find it easy just to pick up the phone and tell people what's going on today. And I think what holds most people back is they try and create things, whereas I'm more comfortable just letting people into what's going on.
Nice.
Giving a window into my everyday life and And I think that combined with when people then spot me on LinkedIn or Facebook or anywhere else, they've already seen the personal side of me or the day-to-day side of me, and then they see the professional produced content on somewhere like LinkedIn.
Yeah, so they've established a relationship with you, I guess, haven't
Yeah,
they?
if we can be friendly first, the relationship will develop and then the business will come.
Yeah.
There's no point in going in business first or anything else for that matter.
Yeah. And how does social media fit with what you do as a branding agency?
One of the things that I've noticed that I've probably not been so good at is promoting the work we do, which is really bizarre for like such a visual business. So, which I think is why I've gone to stories a lot more on Instagram, because I don't need to produce anything really. I can just do stories, and that lets you into the process rather than the finished product. But other than that, it's purely because I find it really hard to sit and produce content. Like a lot of my focus time is on the work. So by the time I'm done with that, I'm thinking, oh God, now I've got to produce something.
Yeah.
And I just want to get on with it. So I like to let people in on the process. It's worked for me so far. I think I would like to produce more finished product content, but actually the way that I'm doing that is through Reels.
Yeah.
So I've got a load of drafts saved,
Nice.
testing, trying things out,
Nice.
and showing finished products there because it goes with some nice music and
Cool.
it draws people in. So yeah, that's how it's working for me at the minute.
When you're working with your clients, so you're obviously, creating this brand for people, as you at the very start of the interview, you're saying like, brand is everything, and you're the custodian of that brand, the people that you work with, and that brand has the potential to change people's behavior, which is exactly how we feel about online and digital and socials. So how does that advice flow from brand creation level into how they can execute that online?
This is a big question.
I
Right?
know.
This is a big question. So you have to understand brand first of all. You can go and speak to 4 different people. They'll tell you something different about brand. You'll speak to, virtual assistants, for example, and now they'll do something for you like, I don't know, put your logo onto a document or create a template for you. And they'll call that branding your templates, or branding your documents.
Course, yeah.
You'll find a business coach will talk about things like mission and vision, the really big, high level, kind of bigger picture stuff. And that they'll call that branding. You'll also find that if you go and print some logos on pads or pens and mugs, they'll call that branding.
Yeah.
So it's such a broad thing that not many people really understand the power of it. And I think because they're so top level. So I define branding in 4 ways. First is strategy, then there's messaging, then there's behaviors, and then there's identity. And most people go identity first. They want the logo and the colours and the images, but they forget that there's a hell of a lot that goes into informing this brand. There is your values and mission and vision, yes, but there's also your message. What do you want to talk about? What's important, and how do you get that message across? What story do you tell people to get them involved into your story as a hero? So that there's a lot of that. And one thing that I think I'll say, which will make some people think, if you think about anything you've ever purchased, it has nothing to do with you and how you feel about that product, but it has more to do with how you want other people to feel about you. Everything you buy, every purchasing decision you've ever made has been done because you want someone else to feel something about you. And when you really understand brand, you understand that it can change the hearts and minds of people, how they think about something, how they feel about something, the reason that they purchase something. There's a reason that a lot of people are going and buying from their local butchers or grocers at the moment. There's a reason why people are switching to subscriptions for some of the things that they used to buy in their weekly shop. And there's a reason behind that. And the more you understand that, the more you get to capture that market, if that's the market you're in.
Yeah.
So branding is such a powerful thing. A lot of people see it as kind of a surface level, but it really is the foundation of everything. It really is the roots that grow through all of your business, no matter what area. So marketing, sales, operations, whatever it is. You can blend it and you can move it into different areas. So to answer your question, once you understand things like messaging, you can start to say things over and over. And it might sound boring, but repetition really is like the power behind branding.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over and over to allow people to understand and digest it. And most importantly, repeat it to someone else. Because that's what we want, really. And the more you know those different things, the strategy, messaging, behaviors, identity, the more confidence you can get in your brand.
Yeah. And I think that more confident in speaking about who you are and what you do more importantly, why you do it, that's I think where social media comes in, because that is the best channel, the best tool that you have from a marketing perspective to then communicate that brand. Because that's all it is, right? The difference in that marketing and branding thing is like branding is the foundation and it helps us stay true about what our business is. And then the marketing is getting that brand out there into different audiences.
I heard someone define it once and I thought it was brilliant. It was so simple. They said sales is a transaction. So that's when someone buys. Marketing is the how someone buys. It's the channels that they go through to buy from you. But branding is the why someone buys. It's the intricate purpose or validation behind why they're buying something.
Yes, love
it's
that.
how people come to a decision. And I thought that was really simple because I think we try and define it all the time, and which is more important and all those things. But actually, they're very separate things, and branding at the core means that you can do both of those things very, very well.
Absolutely.
So the people that spend a load of money and budget and time on marketing, but they don't spend any on branding, the marketing doesn't perform that well because they don't have those core pieces.
Yeah.
In my experience, anyway.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's really valuable and a good lesson to remember. And I kind of take that a step forward and say that, you know, having that brand allows you to communicate reasons behind why you do what you do. And that makes things like social media so much easier to talk to your ideal client and find them. And it means that you aren't caring about, you know, should I have 30 hashtags in this post? Should I have 20? Like, what's the new trend yet? Oh, I heard if you post at 5 p.m. And then comment first on your own post, that's going to make it go viral or something. And I just think like it's all stuff that we shouldn't need to worry about. If you have a good brand and you know your why and you know who your customer is, then the social media works.
Yeah.
Moving on, who do you love on social media?
I really like Carrie from Carrie Rose.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
From
She's got a
PPC marketing company.
PPC agency.
Advertising agency. Do you know what? I don't even know the company because I follow her personally so much.
I do as well, yeah.
So on LinkedIn, she's brilliant.
Oh, I don't follow her on LinkedIn.
That's a really good example of someone that promotes their company, I guess, but it's all from her perspective. So what I've tried to do on Instagram with stories, she does very well on LinkedIn. So I was very annoyed when LinkedIn removed their stories.
I know.
That
was
I was like,
weird.
it's the only thing I
It was
use.
there and then it was gone.
Yeah, but Carrie does it really well. She tells a story through images and video, and she will go to an event and she'll tell the story of why she's at the event, or you know, they'll win a client and she'll show an example of what they've produced and why they did it. So instead of you just seeing the output, like the advert or whatever it is, she tells you how they got to that point.
Yeah.
So she invites you into the story of how this client achieved something through these ideas that she had. And she has no filter for like keeping anything back. She tells you everything.
That's great.
So everyone can go and take that and use it for their own business. The thing is, no one does. And I think that's what she understands so well, is that we can give you everything, but if you don't do it, it's not going to matter to anyone.
And you'll never do it like me.
Yeah,
Almost.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's why she does it. Because no one will do it like her. Because she has a personality of her own and a brand of her own. And
I remember when I first started, I gave out so much knowledge. Like I was just like littering everywhere with like, this is all the stuff. Look at, I know so much. And then I go through like waves of saying, no, I need to pull that back. I'm giving away too much for free. But you're absolutely right. Actually, I've worked really hard to be in more of a altruistic mindset where it's about actually, you know, I want you to do well. I want you to understand what we're doing. And if somebody watches my Instagram or watches our Instagram and goes like, oh, I've cottoned on to what you're doing here, or we're going to do that as well. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. And do you know what? Small percentage of people will be able to do it really, 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 really well and get the results that they could have paid us for.
Yeah.
But they're also going to say, oh, got that idea from Naturally Social. They're really good.
Do you know what really struck me in during lockdown on LinkedIn? My friend mentioned this to me as well, and just kind of validated, was that LinkedIn's quite a strange place when you think about engagement.
Yeah.
So I can post something and get 3 likes and 1 comment, and yet the views are massive, and I get 4 inquiries from it. And I can't tell you how many times that someone's found my number from somewhere, it must be on LinkedIn or somewhere, called and said, I want to talk to you about a project. And I say, where did you find me? And they say, oh, I've been following you on LinkedIn for about 8-9 months. I'm like, you could have liked something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'd never heard of them, never come across their name, never popped up in my feed. Connected, but like not engaged. And yet other posts, I will get 10 people that comment.
Yeah.
Or 20, 30 people that comment. They will never buy from me.
No.
And I know that.
Yeah.
They're not my kind of client. They're not where they need to be in business or whatever the reason might be. They won't buy from me, but they have to be there.
Yeah.
Because the other people that will buy from me that won't like the post have to see that they're engaging.
Yeah.
Because it's social proof that I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
They don't know they're not going to buy from me.
Yeah.
So I started to notice over the last couple of years that I post about something, there's loads of people that comment that won't buy from me, but they're the reason one person gets into it. I know I have to keep posting because someone's going to see it.
This comes back to, I think we're both lovers of Gary Vaynerchuk, aren't we?
Yes.
The ROI of social media.
Parenting.
Yeah.
I love saying that to people.
Yeah. It's like, well, what's the ROI of your mother?
Yeah, what's the ROI of your mother? I said that to a client once and she burst out laughing. It was so funny. She'd never heard it before. And she said, yeah, but, how do I explain the return of like doing a branding workshop or exercise? And I said, what's the ROI of your mother? And she just burst out.
I love it.
And
But
and when
it's
I
true.
explained it to her, it was so true.
Yeah. And that's that, from a strategic point of view on social, like keep showing up. Everything you do, somebody is looking, somebody will see it. Don't just put 3 months worth of content out and go, well, that didn't work for me. Because you'll never know that in 6 months, 12 months time, somebody doesn't pick up the phone and go, you're recommended to me by somebody who saw you 2 months ago, who did. Like, you just can't. It just makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
So just focus on doing it well. Let's move on to one of my favourite bits of the podcast, the social media fail. So we're talking today about a recent fail, I think. I can't remember the date of it, but it was from Innocent Smoothies. And their CEO replaced the Twitter icon. I believe it was their Twitter icon.
Yeah, their profile picture.
That's it, yeah, their profile picture with a picture of him and his new wife from a wedding or a holiday away or something. And it quickly caught the sight of people and, transpired and grew and had all this. I mean, Innocent did what they always do and just owned it to the bone.
Yeah.
Their PR team's just on fire constantly.
It was a good opportunity and they took it. Clearly.
Yeah.
I would love to say that it was real and they just acted on it and it was in the moment and he made a mistake and then went, do you know what, guys, roll with it.
Yeah.
I would love to think that that's true. There's a small part of me that says he went, do you know what, let's put it on the Innocent thing, and then someone went, what the hell have you done? And he went, oh, actually, do you know what, that was
You're
probably
welcome.
a bad idea. I'll take that off, but you guys can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm in two minds.
Yeah.
If I have to make a decision, I'm going to say it was staged.
Ooh.
I just think they're so good.
They are good.
And
at
they
doing that.
know what's worked in the
Yeah.
past. And other brands have done it as well, whether it's staged or not. And that they just understand the market so well that if they need to make an impact and break some patterns
Yeah.
or just get people's attentions every now and then, I think they know how to do it well. And I think that was a good idea.
They now rehash it like every year or something on the year to the day. And
Yeah.
they go like...
They use it forever.
Yeah, they use it forever. And they say, oh, happy birthday, boss. And it's a picture of this photo overlaying the product labels of every Innocent product that they've got out there. So it's quite amusing.
Yeah, it is very good.
Well, that was our social media fail for this episode. Danny, thank you so much for being with me on Beyond the Hashtag.
Thank you for having me.
It's been brilliant. And we'll add all the links and people should definitely check you out. And thanks very much.
Thank you.